Hi and welcome to a new video. Today we will talk about the RFID chip which you can find on the new Intel Skylake-X CPUs. During the last 2 or 3 weeks when I was in Taiwan for Computex, I already talked to other YouTubers and we did some interviews where I mentioned already that there is an RFID chip sitting on those new CPUs, and I saw several media and articles quoting me on that. So today we will talk a little bit more in detail what the RFID chip is really about. RFID means radio frequency identification, and for sure you came across this technology already, especially if you go shopping, for example, for some clothes. Usually you have some RFID tags, for example, on a pair of jeans. So if you pay on the cashier will destroy the RFID tag with a magnet, and if you wouldn't pay and leave the store, then you would know with the beeping sound you can hear. You can also use the RFID to transfer a little bit more information than just a simple 1-bit info. So on this CPU we have an RFID chip, and this chip is storing all the information about the CPU. Not on desktop, but on server CPUs. So this thing is called a PIROM, a processor identification ROM, and it's actually quite common. We haven't seen it so far on any desktop CPUs, but it's very common on Xeon CPUs. So if you check the latest i7 V2 Xeon CPUs, you can already find the PIROM on there. Also some very old Xeons already have it. So this chip is mainly meant for inventory keeping, so you could use a RFID reader and go near this chip, and then you could read out all the information which is stored on the small chip. So for example, the CPU string, name, cache details, serial number, batch, all this kind of stuff is stored on the PIROM, and I think it's very useful if you have a huge server farm and you have to change a lot of CPUs. Then you can keep track on which CPU is actually stored in which server. It's a lot easier than just writing down all the information which is written on the IHS. So this the small IC is actually not really special. It's just a small RFID chip which is meant for inventory keeping. As I mentioned earlier, on the desktop CPUs this chip is not working. When I was at ASUS 2 or 3 weeks ago during Computex, we tried to access the small chip using the SM bus. For those who don't know, the SM bus is pretty similar to a I2C communication bus, so you can transfer information, for example, from the CPU to the SPD of your memories, of your memory modules. It's pretty much the same thing here. So the SM bus would communicate between CPU and the small IC, so you could read out the information which is stored on the PIROM. But in this case, on the desktop CPU, the SM bus is cut off, so the chip is physically disabled and there is no information stored on this chip. So unfortunately, it's not as spectacular as some guys would think, but yeah, it's mainly a simple chip to store some information for inventory keeping. There are some public datasheets out there of the Xeon i7 V2 you can access. I would put the link in the description, and if you go to page 165, you can already check out the information, for example, of the PIROM of the i7 V2 Xeon CPUs, and that's pretty much what you would find on this chip if this was a Xeon. So maybe we will see that in the upcoming CPUs for the server market, but for desktop it's really nothing special. So that's it for this video. I know it was quite short, but I wanted to make clear what this chip is about to make sure there are no rumors spreading on the internet. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any kind of questions about the RFID chip, leave comments down below. Otherwise, I wish you a very nice day. See you soon.